Adventures on the Sword Coast, Chapter 4. While recounting their adventures in Nomengard around the campfire, the party decide that the Pole of Collapsing should go to Zurek, and the Clockwork Amulet to Alexis Songblessed. Although Princess Lady Anastasia said she could look after the Wand of Pyrotechnics, the party thought it prudent that Fairfax Whitbeam look after this item, along with the Hat of Wizardry. Amos the Destroyer, being uninterested in all this magical trickery, was content with drinking some of the halfling fine wine that he had liberated earlier. After taking a long rest in the southern foothills of the Sword Mountains, the party are ready to set off towards Umbrage Hill, where they hoped to find Sister Garaele. It was a beautiful spring morning, and the journey should take them no more than 4 to 5 hours to complete. All being well, they could then proceed onwards to Phandalin before the day's end. As they approached the mound that was Umbrage Hill, the party could see a tall, large windmill on top of the hill. To the left of the windmill was a ruined building, along with a basic wooden fence that surrounded the structures. Halfway up the windmill, the party noticed an arm waving frantically out of one of the windows, as if trying to attract their attention. Looking beyond the windmill, to the east, the party could see a large creature flying around the far side of Umbrage Hill. What could it be? Impulsively, Alexis Songblessed screamed at the top of his voice, "Dragon!" Zurek and Princess can't quite work out what the creature could be. Surely not a dragon, as it appears to be too small. Then Fairfax determines that it is a manticore, with the body of a lion and a vaguely humanoid head, flying with dragon-like wings and a long tail clustered with deadly spikes. The party formulate a plan for those with ranged weapons to go up the hill to the high ground and cover for the fighters if they move around the bottom of Umbrage Hill. As they start to implement this plan, a second manticore flies into view from behind the windmill. Alexis Songblessed shouts out another suggestion: "Let's give Princess the Wand of Pyrotechnics!" Fairfax Whitbeam, knowing what mischief Princess would get up to with what amounted to a flare gun, sighs and simply says no. Assuming the manticores to be hostile, Fairfax takes the initiative and casts Eldritch Blast, as a beam of crackling energy hits the manticore next to the windmill, causing it to let out a thunderous roar in pain. Alexis Songblessed casts Bless on the party to protect them from the advancing manticores. Amos starts to run up the hill towards the windmill, holding his large shield for protection. At the same time, Zurek charges towards the other manticore. As he does so, the manticore flies towards Zurek, shooting its tail spikes as it swoops down the hillside. 2 land at his feet, the third hits him in the shoulder. Princess Lady Anastasia moves towards the manticore shooting at Zurek and throws a javelin in return, but misses. At the same time she shouts, "We are trying to be nice," to which the manticore replies, "When were you trying to be nice? Your party attacked us with magical spell." The manticore next to the windmill fires its tail spikes at Amos the Destroyer. The first hits him squarely in the chest, but Alexis Songblessed casts Cutting Words to reduce the effects of the damage. The other tail spikes bounce off his shield. Fairfax Whitbeam casts Firebolt at the manticore next to the windmill as a mote of fire explodes on the creature. At the same time, Alexis Songblessed casts Vicious Mockery, as a string of insults laced with a subtle enchantment causes psychic damage to the manticore. Stunned by the magical attacks from Fairfax and Alexis, Amos takes the opportunity to move forward and throw 2 javelins at the manticore. Both are accurate and hit. Further round Umbrage Hill, Zurek continues to close the gap between him and the other manticore, as he notices 2 more manticores flying into view behind the one he is charging. As the closest manticore dives down to attack, it makes a poor landing and misses Zurek altogether. Not needing an invitation, Zurek returns the favour and hits the manticore. This one too roars aloud in great pain. Princess Lady Anastasia shouts again at the manticore, "Hold your fire, we will stop attacking if you do." But the manticore is not persuaded. In frustration, Princess attacks her multicoloured Chow Chow puppy, causing severe damage that almost knocks the stuffing out of it. As the other manticore next to the windmill waves its tail in the air, 3 tail spikes hurtle down towards Amos and Alexis. 2 miss Alexis, but a 3rd strikes Amos. Fairfax Whipbeam continues to press his attack on the same creature and casts Magic Missile, as 5 glowing darts plunge into Manticore's side. Alexis Songbless continues to cast Vicious Mockery, causes more psychic damage as he shouts, "You look even uglier with a javelin stuck in you." Amos the Destroyer takes careful aim and throws his last 2 javelins at the manticore near the windmill. Both strike their target. Fatally wounded, the creature falls to the ground. Amos looks down the hill with a wry smile and shouts, "I've killed my manticore. What are you doing, Zurek?" The other manticores let out a scream as they see what has happened. Fairfax Whipbeam lets out a second sigh and mutters under his breath, "The barbarian thinks he's killed that manticore all on his own." Zurek, not wanting to be outdone by Amos, launches a furious attack on the manticore that has landed next to him, causing massive damage to the creature. Seeing this, the other 2 manticores flying into view move forward to attack. Both fire 3 tail spikes at Zurek, but as he dodges and weaves, all 6 tail spikes miss and bury themselves into the ground around his feet. Although the manticores appear to be attacking the party, they seem distracted, as though fleeing from something out of view behind the hill. The manticore in combat with Zurek spreads its wings and takes off again and heads towards the windmill. Princess takes this opportunity to throw her javelin, which hits the creature as it struggles to gain altitude. She shouts, "You could have at least replied to me." This time it does, growling, "You have killed my friend, pretty one." Fairfax Whipbeam dashes up the hill to join the rest of the party, as Alexis Songblessed casts Vicious Mockery again, saying out loud, "You look even uglier than the one we just killed," causing more psychic damage to the creature. It becomes apparent as to what these manticores were fleeing from, as the hilltop is filled with the sound of a large flapping wings. Then a large dragon-like creature swoops into view. Amos runs to the body of the manticore he has slain and retrieves his 4 javelins. It looks like he will need them. Zurek throws 2 spears at the manticore heading back up towards the windmill. The first misses, but the second finds its mark and the creature crashes into the hillside, dead. Amos looks across with a wry smile. He shouts, "About time too, Zurek." Fairfax Whipbeam lets out another sigh and rolls his eyes at the fighters. Seeing the death of the second manticore, the other 2 continue to advance and fire tail spikes at the party. Zurek, Princess and Alexis all take damage from the hail of tail spikes. Only Amos manages to avoid the barrage. Princess Lady Anastasia runs past the downed manticore, picks up her javelins and advances towards the other 2 manticores. Fairfax casts Eldritch Blast. Again, 2 beams of crackling energy streak towards the manticores, with one finding its mark, but just manages to clip the creature's wing. Alexis continues to cast vicious mockery, yelling, "You're not ugly like the other one, just fat," as the psychic damage injures the creature again. While the party continue to battle the remaining two manticores, the dragon advances towards the party. Amos the Destroyer tries to parley with the dragon. He says, "Why do you chase these manticore?" To which the dragon roars, "All these lands are mine. All this food is mine." Amos offers to help the dragon to defeat the manticores. The dragon replies in contempt, "I do not need your help." Zurich tries another approach and asks the manticores to join forces with the party to help defeat the dragon. As he does so, he moves and throws a flask of oil at the dragon, but it dodges the missile. The manticore, unsure what to do next, fires tail spikes at both the dragon and Amos. It misses the dragon but hits Amos squarely in the chest. The other manticore, also in a panic, fires 3 tail spikes at anyone around him. They miss the dragon and Alexis, but again Amos the Destroyer takes another spike to the chest. As the dragon flies over Umbrage Hill, Princess Lady Anastasia moves underneath the belly of the beast and throws 2 javelins. One misses, but the second critically hits the dragon as she shouts, "Leave the nice manticores alone." Fairfax Whitbeam casts magic missile as 5 glowing darts impact into the dragon. Meanwhile, Alexis Songblessed moves into the ruined building next to the windmill and sees a ladder going up inside. He determines that the stone structure could form some sort of protection from the dragon. Climbing the ladder to the next level, he finds 2 women hiding from the creatures outside. One appears badly hurt. The other will turn out to be Adabra Gwyn, who lives in the stone windmill on Umbrage Hill. The dragon moves back from its prey, flaps its mighty wings. It inhales deeply before breathing out a blast of icy cold air. It envelops Zurek, Princess and the 2 manticores, who all take cold damage. Princess slumps to the ground unconscious. Only Zurek's stone endurance and resistance to cold saves him. Amos the Destroyer finds cover in the ruins and in a rage throws 2 javelins at the dragon, both finding their mark in the creature's hindquarters. Zurek, remembering he has a heavy crossbow, pulls it out and fires at the dragon, but misses. He curses the creature. The manticores are still confused as to who to fight, so they shoot their tail spikes around wildly, hitting Zurek and the dragon. Princess Lady Anastasia, her life slowly ebbing away, manages to cling on to her mortal coil. In a selfless act, Fairfax Whitbeam dashes towards Princess in an effort to save her life. In order to help Fairfax reach Princess, Alexis Songblessed casts command on the dragon and shouts, "Land!" To which the dragon moves back down Umbrage Hill and lands. Amos the Destroyer, already in a range, goes into a frenzy, dashes over to the dragon and recklessly attacks with his grey axe. Critically wounding the beast, he looks across at Zurek with a wry smile. In response, Zurek runs past the fallen manticore, picks up one of his spears and hurls it at the dragon. It finds its mark. He then dashes towards the dragon and around to its far side. Amos shouts out humorously to Zurek, "We've got it surrounded!" Alexis Songblessed shouts to the manticores, "Attack the dragon while it's down!" One of the manticores moves forward towards the dragon and fires its tail spikes, but they hit Amos and Zurek, not the dragon. The other manticore shoots wildly again at Zurek, Fairfax and the dragon, but they all miss. Princess Lady Anastasia's life force is now fading. She desperately needs help. To this end, Fairfax Whitbeam arrives at a limp body and casts Cure Wounds, which brings her back to the land of the living. Alexis Songblessed, now out of range to cast any spells against the dragon, moves down the ladder in the windmill and into the ruins next to the fireplace. The dragon is not enjoying his encounter with these adventurers. Spreading his mighty wings, he takes off into the air. Both Amos and Zurek try to hit the beast as he takes off, but they miss as it flies off. The dragon bellows, "You'll regret your decision to face up to Croinvain." Amos the Destroyer shouts, "Come back, you cowardly dragon!" And then turning to the manticores he yells, "And you best be off too, or you get the same." Zurek returns to the downed manticore to collect his spears. Seeing the dragon retreat, one of the manticores decides it is also best to go and starts to fly off. The other is still confused and fires its tail spikes at Fairfax and Princess, who slumps back down unconscious as 2 spikes hit her in the back. Although also wounded by the manticore tail spikes, Fairfax Whitbeam casts Cure Wounds to bring Princess Lady Anastasia back from the brink again. Alexis Songblessed casts Vicious Mockery, causing psychic damage on the manticore attacking Fairfax and Princess, shouting, "Are you the stupid one?" As Croinvain the dragon heads further away into the sky, Zurek makes note of his direction of travel. Returning to help Fairfax and Princess, Amos the Destroyer throws 3 hand axes at the manticore. Although disadvantaged, they all hit, causing great damage on the creature. Zurek joins Amos and hurls one of his spears and brings down the beast. He then stands on the carcass victorious. Amos turns to Zurek and says, "I think I softened him up for you, Zurek." Princess, enraged by the actions of the manticore, chases after the last one and throws one of her javelins at it, but misses, cursing the fleeing manticore. Fairfax also casts Firebolt, but that too misses as the creature limps away into the distance. Alexis and Amos go back into the windmill to rescue the terrified women. Ada Brugwyn introduces herself and explains that the manticores would not leave them alone. The dragon had taken their food source, so they came down from Sword Mountains to feed. Alexis then realizes that the injured woman is Sister Garaele. He tends to her wounds and offers to take them back to Falandalin for safety. They both welcome this offer, and they did not think they would get out of the windmill on Umbrage Hill alive. After harvesting the dead manticores for teeth, claws and tail spikes, Zurek returns to the party and informs the group that he believes the dragon headed off east in the direction of Echo Wave Cave and possibly beyond towards Icespire Peak. As Amos takes a single tooth from the manticore he killed, he reflects on the battle and determines they had been lucky this time, as the beast they fought was a young white dragon. Had it been an adult, the outcome may have been quite different. The party head off towards Phandalin, recalling how the battle with the manticores and the dragon unfolded. Interestingly, they all seem to have a slightly different recollection of what occurred. Fairfax Whitbeam listens to all the tall tales in silence. They arrive back at Falandalin that evening, entering from the south. Sister Garaele and Ada Brugwyn appreciate the aid the party has given them, for without it they would have surely perished. As Sister Garaele returns to her house, Zurek states that he has looked after her offerings in the dwelling. She asked if they had any success completing the quest for her, but unfortunately the party had not been able to obtain the book for Sister Garaele. She thanks them for trying and says she will see them all again soon. The party make their way to the town hall to discuss matters with Sildar Hallwinter. They tell him about the White Dragon and how it believes that this area now belongs to him. Sildar asks if they were successful in obtaining magical weapons to defeat the dragon from Nomengard. Fairfax responds tactfully, and the weapons may only be of limited use. Harbin Wester, the town master of Falandalin, overhears the conversation and offers 50 gold pieces for the Wand of Pyrotechnics and the Hat of Wizardry. Fairfax explains that Falandalin will need to find a competent wizard in order to use the hat effectively. Harbin looks pleased with these purchases and mutters, "Now we will show Neverwinter that we can look after the town." Alexis Songblessed tells Sildar about their encounter with the Orc warband near the Dwarven excavation, and wonders if there is a reward for the death of their leader, the Orc war chief, as he rolls the head out onto a table. "Not really," says Sildar, "but good job in getting rid of those dangerous orcs." The party explain that they checked on the dwarves at the excavation and warned them about the dragon, but they were quite content to keep digging. Sildar also mentions the farmer and his family that made their way into town with the help of the party, and thanks them also for his brave deed. It is agreed that Sildar will meet the party at the Sleeping Giant Tavern for a private lunch tomorrow to discuss other matters that need attending to. Making their way to Stonehill Inn, the party intends to rest there overnight. As they enter, the innkeeper recognises some of the party members and offers them a room and board for 3 gold pieces each. Princess Lady Anastasia, after her near-death experience, wants some luxury, and for 5 gold pieces a suite is made ready for her, along with fresh flowers and scented candles. Fairfax Whitbeam pays the innkeeper 6 gold pieces for Zurich and himself to cover one night's food and board. Amos asks Fairfax to also pay for Alexis and himself out of the gold given to him by Harbin Wester. Fairfax agrees, and Amos slaps him on the back, possibly a bit too vigorously, and says, "Come on then, let's get some beers in at the bar." The barkeep makes space for the party at their best table. After all, they were the ones who got rid of the Red Brand ruffians. As the party settle down in the bar for the evening to eat, drink and recall the adventures they have had together since setting off for Falandalin a few days ago, sharing their joint experiences together has certainly gone up a level. Alexis Songblessed starts to look around for a violin. He is after all a bard, and wishes to sing of their tales on the Sword Coast.